So I want to go towards like maximizing your time and decluttering. So like, have you done any decluttering in this season?
Yes, and I actually did use the same principles of the points to overcome it. So instead of, because when you're in the thick of things and you're in the hustle and bustle of the day, and of the hustle and bustle of like life, things just kind of pile up.
Yeah.
And then you look at it and it's an elephant. And I remember my auntie Wanda used to say, how do you eat an elephant? You eat it one bite at a time. And so like making it into smaller actual goals, like smaller attainable goals, to little by little begin to start working through, was actually a lot more beneficial for me to do it. So if I couldn't, some people try to like knock it out all in one day.
Yeah.
But I'm not that type of person. I'll get tired and worn out. So making the small list of goals, or making the small points to keep my focus, that's one big part for me. Then the other thing that I've done that's helped me with decluttering is partnering up my decluttering with my soul ministry. So listening to praise and worship music. Like I put on old school Fred Hammond and was jamming out to Fred Hammond cleaning the house, because it was able to keep me like in a positive, light place, and I was able to just move through it instead of having nothing in the space. Or like going through mail while I'm praying in tongues and like seeking the Lord, or listening to the word. So while the word is playing in the background, I'm going through, I'm receiving the word, but I'm also able to go through what I have before me to just keep me on track, so that it's not like a mundane task that I have to accomplish, because I'm a really creative person, but that it's something that is benefiting me, that I'm partnering up with the thing that I feel like is mundane.
So does that help maximize your time?
Oh yeah. I've found that I've gotten more things accomplished in the days that I do that than the days that I don't try to pair it up or partner it up with Holy Spirit, or partner it up with my relationship with God. Imagine it's like doing something that's really hard to do with the best friend, right?
Yeah.
Like when it's hard to clean your house, but like when your best friend is with you, or when you're working with somebody, you're able to get it done a lot faster, and it's a lot more fun. That's kind of the same concept.
So the first week this started, right? I've been wanting to rearrange my apartment for a while. And the first week this started, I literally, maybe the first weekend, it's not the first 5 days, but I literally rearranged my apartment. I mean, I cleaned everything. And I even cleaned out my closet. I removed all the old clothes. I went through drawers, old t-shirts. I had 4 big old bags of stuff, right, that I got rid of. Jeans I won't even wear. Stuff I didn't want to give away, but they served no purpose. I haven't worn them in years. So that's how I did my decluttering. And it was like when I did that, right, the rearranging and then hanging up of some new pictures, when I did that, I was refreshed. The place felt new, right? I've been there 2 years, but the place felt like renewed. It was a new space for me, right? And it also, like, I love to cook, right? It also helped me like get even more creative in my cooking. So it was like okay, I can't go to meeting places. I can go to the grocery store. I can go buy a whole bunch of different stuff,
Right.
and experiment on my cooking, right?
Yeah.
And my family, I share it with them. So it's been a great time for me. A little long, but it's been a great time for me.
That's really, really good. My mom, she used to always tell me that the state of your house is the state of your mind. And so that decluttering process of going through things and taking care of it actually helps to free up your mind. And when your mind is free, the Holy Spirit can talk to you. When your mind is more open and you're not thinking about all this extra stuff, you're able to really hone in on what's before you, instead of like looking at everything that's around you, or all the things that you have to do and take care of. And those things are actual hindrances from us writing the books, from us painting the pictures, for me, or from us even connecting with the people that He wants us to connect with.
So, get a little honest here. So you work in retail, right? So right now retail is not working, not happening in Atlanta, Georgia, right?
No, it is not.
So
Not unless you're at the grocery store.
So you went through your whole timeline of COVID earlier. So like, but you're also a very creative person. So like, once you got out that space of losing focus, what projects creatively have you also incorporated, or are you working on now to kind of keep your focus? Because I know as a creative person, that's how you have to focus when you're in the creative mind, I guess, using your creative mind when you're painting or writing.
That was actually another thing that was really helpful to me maintaining my focus, is giving my mind a rest through creativity. Like I disciplined myself the first couple of weeks to take a moment just to make something for an hour once a week, so that I didn't get stagnant or it was kind of like a form of therapy. It helped to actually bring me to a place of peace where I could actually think outside the box. Creativity is essentially problem solving, and so being able to stay in a very childlike creative place keeps you problem solving. So even if it meant that I watched a kid show, or I listened to something from my childhood, like a song that I remember from my childhood, to help ignite that creative part about me, that actually helped me to overcome some of those different things. Remember, the word talks about coming to God as a child, and so like that helps to break through that fear. It helps to break through the anxiety, and just you're able to come in a very innocent place in your walk with God. But the projects that I'm working on right now, I actually do have a couple creative projects that I'm working on. I didn't try to force myself into doing some of those creative projects immediately, because I knew what the state of my mind and the state of my heart was, and I didn't want that to come out through my creativity. And so I focused more so initially on my soul, and then after I'd moved through that place and I was in a good stewardship of my soul, of my mind, of my will, of my emotions, of my spirit, then I began to start utilizing my creativity in a more tactile way. I did a couple paintings for myself and my home. I worked on some commissions for some different people that I've been working on, and it's a process.
It is a process. Okay, so are there any spiritual goals that you have set during this time?
You know what? You gave me a spiritual goal recently about, taking communion every day. I forgot about that, but when we got into the Passover time, I immediately started thinking about, I need to take communion. I haven't taken communion. I need to commune with God and really fellowship with Him, and making sure that I'm doing it daily. So communion from the standpoint of communing with God every day, I was already kind of trying to do that by keeping some form of devotional period every single day before me.
Yeah.
But you gave me one about taking the physical communion and really meditating on what He did on the cross and the victory that we have in Him every day. I think it makes a huge difference. What about you, Jason?
So yeah, I take communion pretty regularly, almost every day. I've been every day for the last couple of weeks, but I was taking it 4 or 5 times a week already. And I learned something during this time, right? I have a prayer group we do every morning at 7:00, and I wasn't sharing that with the group, right? I was doing it on my own, and I had that feeling of call one brother and take communion with that brother. So then we incorporated a couple more people from the prayer group, and it was like the Holy Spirit was saying, this is a person who has the gift to understand what the blood really meant. So this person gave one of the best communions I've ever experienced. And it was not planned. It was not preordained. It was totally spontaneous. But he knows the word. He knew where to go. And it was an experience. And each of us spoke how we love the blood and the the flesh, the broken flesh, the cracker. But it was an experience I had never experienced before. So that right there for me about being communal and trying to focus on one important. Had I not been doing it regularly, I probably wouldn't have heard the Holy Spirit, the focus of it, because I literally focus in and pray when I do my communion. But it brought me into a communal space of some brothers and sisters.